Hello and Assalamualaikum. So, my name is Imran Farhan, and today I will be delivering to you my persuasive speech, which entitled "Esport is not a real sports." When I say the word sports, what do you think of it? If you are a fan of sports, you would think of rugby, hockey, swimming, and etc. Esports is basically an online game, and I do not consider that as a sport. Despite the word esports having sports right in the name, there is still a general belief that esport is actually not a sport at all. But why? So, today I'd like to convince you to consider that esport is not a real sport. There are many reasons to believe that esport is not a real sport. First, it does not recognize as a real sport. Second, it does not incorporate enough physical aspect. And third, it lacks direct physicality, which does not contribute to human development. Most of you must be skeptical on how legitimate esports as a real sports. As it turns out, there are no one definitive answer. In fact, it is an ongoing debate. You will be struck on how esports are not recognized as a real sport. It does not recognize as a real sport because many of the big names, countries, and organization in sports does not recognize esports as a real sport. For an example, Scandi Sports, ESPN, which is the famous channel, Swedish Sports Confederation, and the German country itself does not recognize esports as a real sport. Esports also involve strategy and planning, but it is not comparable to sports. Even the biggest esport event in the world, the international, which is the event for the Dota game, did not get the membership in the sports federation. Thus, it is crystal clear, without the approval of those big names, esports cannot be considered as a real sport. Another reason you might think esports is a real sport are because it does involve a little bit of physical aspect, but the truth is does not. It does not incorporate enough physical aspect and element. Sports is defined as physical activity engaged as pleasure. Logically, esport does not seem to fit the definition. Esports also involve strategy and planning, but it is not comparable to sports. Similar to playing music instruments, you could improve your skills with training, but still does not make it as a sport. Next, what you have to be convinced is what makes esports less sports is that it does not contribute to human physical development and growth. It lacks direct physicality, which is detrimental and does not contribute to human development. They fail to employ decisive whole body control and whole body skills. Esports are primarily focused on mind control and only a little bit of physical movement, such as moving the mice and also keyboard tapping. Thus, it is clearly does not developing human body strength, conditioning, and growth, which are very crucial in playing sports. My hope is that you are convinced that esports is not a real sport because esports concepts are already astray from the real concept of sports. First, it does not recognize as a real sport. Second, it does not incorporate enough physical aspect. And the third one, which is the last one, it lacks direct physicality, which does not contribute to human development. In conclusion, esports does not qualify with the definition of a real sport. As it states in the Oxford English Dictionary, an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Whatever the resemblance may be asserted, esports do not qualify as a real sports. Esports are a little more than video games. I think that is all from me for my persuasive speech titled Esport is not real sports. So thank you for listening and have a nice one.